Hello viewers, hope all are doing good during this situation and welcome to my channel once again. And in this video we will be learning about vermicomposting. So let's know what vermicomposting is and why is it necessary in agriculture. See, nowadays completely agriculture is dependent on chemicals, use of fertilizers, pesticides, okay, for enrichment of the nutrients in soil and plants. But vermicompost is a organic manure which is produced by the activity of earthworms. So when coming to something being so organic, vermicompost is one of the nutritious element or nutritious source that could be applied to the soil for enrichment of its nutrients. So vermicompost is a mixture of worm casts which are rich in the micro and the micronutrients, vitamins, growth hormones and immobilized microflora sometimes. So the nutrient content, as I have written here, the vermicompost has more nutrient content than that of the FYM. So in FYM we can found 0.3% of nitrogen probably, but you see in this vermicompost we find 1.60% of nitrogen, 5% of P2O5 and nearly 1% or 0.8% of K2O, that is potassium. So the nutrient content is almost higher in vermicompost and FYM. So it is recommended to use vermicompost more than FYM. So C is to N ratio is also, we can see here, less than FYM. Means the C is to N ratio in FYM is generally more, but the C is to N ratio in vermicompost is generally less than FYM. So the last point that I have mentioned here is the earthworm species that are being used for vermicompost, like Udulus, Eugenia, Eusina Saturday, Lumbricus rubellus and Perionyx excavatus. So these cannot be directly applied to the soil as a source of nutrient, can be composted by this method. So as there are many waste and byproducts I'm talking about which cannot be directly applied to the soil, so this can be composted and utilized as vermicompost. So vermicompost is used for different crops like horticultural crops, forest trees, potted plants or field crops, etc. So there is a proper amount which should be used. Like horticulture crops we need 100 to 200 gram per tree, potted plants we need 50 to 60 grams per pot, and field crops we required near about 5 to 6 tons per hectare of crop. So now let's going to the vermicompost preparation. So how is vermicompost prepared? So to know this you have to watch my full video to the end. There are certain requirements, like we need a tank size of 2 into 1 into 1 meter. We can vary the tank size based on our capacity, that if we can produce more amount of vermicompost, then we can increase the tank size. We have to increase the dung, we have to increase the worm species number, we have to increase the dry leaves, straws, water, etc. But for a normal or average size tank we can prepare like 2 into 1 into 1 meter, that is 2 meter of length, 1 meter of width and 1 meter of height. So dung we can put in it. If we prepare the tank size of these dimensions, then we have to use the dung of 4 to 5 kg, that is cow dung, worm species like Eusina fortidae or the two more like Perionyx excavatus or Lumbricus rubellus. So these are the worm species that we can use, and dried leaves like straws, water or dried up leaves from the trees. So how to prepare? Let's understand how to prepare. So it was actually been described by Purakashata and Bhattanagar in 1997 in India. So here we have to prepare a tank of this dimension with brick in a shaded place. So this should be remembered, that vermicompost pits should be or tanks should be built in shaded place, no direct sunlight, because it may hamper the earthworms. They may not survive with high temperature. So the bottom of the tank is placed with bricks or chips, stone chips and sand, and the thickness of the soil should be spread on it, and the thickness of the soil should be 15 cm. So we have to fill the tank from the bottom first with brick, stone chips and sand, and it is made up of the bottom of the tank. and then we have to put soil of 15 centimeter at the bottom of the tank, and then we have to apply about 4 to 5 kgs of cow dung in it, and then we have to put 100 number of locally available worm species. That is what we said, Eosinophyta, that is mostly used. We have to leave into them like near about 100, and then we can we have to put dry leaves or straws up to a thickness of 5 cm above the earthworms, and then some water should be applied to it, means more amount of water should be applied to it, and then we can put again straws, leaves, plants, kitchenwares, etc. Up to a height of 10 centimeter, and this can be continued, this process of putting the straw waste and kitchen waste, water, it should become it should be continued till the preparation of the bed fills up to the top. And now we can put liquids cow dung suspension in the applied and waste paper and bigger leaves to cover the contents in the tank, and finally the tank is fully covered with a wrapper or with a cotton gunny cloth. Okay, so the tank should be watered to every day to keep sufficient moisture, about 50 to 60%, and it should be turned up, the soil, the complete nutrients should be turned up after a month, and watering as usual should be given to the tank when the moisture content gets down. And at the time of maturation, that is after a certain time of 2 months, the watering should be stopped so that the compost gets completely dried, and now the vermicompost is already, when it gets dried, it gets completely prepared, and now it can be packed into boxes or can be sifted to places or field where it is required. So the nature and the quality of the vermicompost vary with the type of waste materials and worm culture used. So we must keep in mind that the vermicompost should be, to get a good quality of vermicompost, we should use a good quality of waste materials, or not very degraded qualities, and good worms to get good quality of vermicompost for our fields. So thank you viewers for watching my video with patience. Hope I have said much of knowledge with you, and keep liking, sharing and subscribing to my channel, and thank you.